All right, good evening and Happy New Year to everyone. Welcome to the work session for the City Council for the City of Wildwood for Monday, January 11, 2021. Ms. Eldridge, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Bolin,
Here.
Councilmember Garitano, Councilmember Flasher,
Here.
Councilmember Bertolino,
Here.
Councilmember Dodwell, Councilmember Nyan,
Here.
Councilmember Bartoni,
Here.
Councilmember Brooks, Councilmember Clark,
Here.
Councilmember Edens,
Here.
Councilmember Remy,
Here.
Councilmember Farmer, Councilmember Farmer, Councilmember Galani,
Here.
Councilmember McCune,
Here.
Councilmember Rambo,
Here.
Councilmember McCutcheon, Councilmember McCutcheon,
Megan, she's saying here.
All right, thank you and welcome again. Before we get to action items, we have 7 items under information. Does any member of the council wish to ask any questions about any of those, or do you have any comments about any of the items under information? If you do, we'll take those now. Otherwise, we'll go to the action item. All right, seeing no questions. Okay, we're going to go to the action items, and we have 3 items for this evening. The Farmers Market Manager contract for 2021. We have an item, as you know, we're continuing our strategic planning process. We're in phase 2. We also have an executive session. Given that I want to make sure that we get the executive session accomplished this evening, if there's no objection, what I would like to do is to rearrange the agenda such that we now go into executive session, and we'll see how that goes. And depending on how that goes, we may or may not complete the remainder of the work session agenda this evening. So if there's no objection to that, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session, and we will proceed along those lines. Made by Councilmember Rambo. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Flasher. This will need to be a roll call vote. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing no discussion on the motion, Ms. Eldridge, would you please call the roll of the council relative to the motion to go into executive session?
Councilmember Garitano,
Yes.
Councilmember Flasher,
Yes.
Councilmember Bertolino,
Yes.
Councilmember Dodwell, Councilmember Nyan,
Yes.
Councilmember Bartoni,
Yes.
Councilmember Gross, Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Edens,
Yes.
Councilmember Remy,
Yes.
Councilmember Farmer,
Yes.
Councilmember Galani,
Yes.
Councilmember McCune,
Yes.
Councilmember Rambo, Councilmember McCutcheon.
I don't know that she can hear you. Okay, so we have a majority of the council who has approved the motion. So we're going to go into executive session. And again, once that is done, we will come back into the public session or public part of the work session. Thank you. Why are you sitting there?
Pardon?
I was going to go home, but I guess it's kind of like the time.
I mean, I'm already here, right?
It's the Ohio speaking.
I know. My whole family is sit there and watch that long.
Everybody sit
I
up.
might as well go get a paper copy of the agenda because it's too heavy.
Yeah, we don't change those.
Hey, Prost. Don't eat anything during this meeting. Sit up, sir.
Hey, I'm gonna wear a mask. Oh, is that you that they were mad?
No, I'll be right back.
It's unbelievable that there's somebody that's got more time and energy to worry about.
I know.
Yep.
Okay, council members, welcome back into the work session. As you know, so we have just completed our executive session, and we have two items on the agenda that remain for action in the work session. The first is the farmers market manager contract, and the second is strategic planning. Given the late hour and the need to get through the council meeting, I would suggest that we postpone those. No harm will come from that. To the next meeting, and if you agree, I would entertain a motion to postpone those two items to the next council meeting. Made by Councilmember Clark. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Rambo. Any discussion on the motion to postpone? Seeing no discussion of the motion to postpone, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, so they'll be on the agenda for the work session for our next meeting in January. And nothing is under miscellaneous, so I would ask for a motion to adjourn the work session of the council so we can proceed into the main meeting. Made by Councilmember Flasher, second by Councilmember Nyan. Non-debatable, all in favor of the motion to adjourn, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? So we are adjourned from the work session, and we will now go into the main meeting of the council. I'd like to welcome everyone. Happy New Year again to the main meeting of the City Council for the City of Wildwood for Monday, January 11, 2021. Ms. Eldridge, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Boland,
Here.
Councilmember Garitano,
Here.
Councilmember Flasher,
Here.
Councilmember Bertolino,
Here.
Councilmember Dodwell, Councilmember Nyan,
Here.
Councilmember Bartoni,
Here.
Councilmember Bros,
Here.
Councilmember Clark,
Here.
Councilmember Edens,
Here.
Councilmember Remy,
Here.
Councilmember Farmer,
Here.
Councilmember Galani,
Here.
Councilmember McCune,
Here.
Councilmember Rambo,
Here.
Councilmember McCutcheon.
Here.
Okay, thank you and welcome again. For those of you who are comfortably able, if you would please stand with me to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. And moving next to the approval of minutes from the council's December 14, 2020 work session and regular meeting. Councilmember Flasher.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, so we have a motion to approve the minutes as presented. Is there a second to the motion? Seconded by Councilmember Brost. Any discussion on the motion? See no discussion. All in favor of the motion to approve the minutes as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Moving next to public participation, I don't think we have anyone in council chambers this evening. Julian, do we have anyone online who's has raised a hand wanting to speak?
Mayor, nobody has raised a hand. We do have 9 individuals in the public. If we'd like to give them a second to see if they can raise their hand to be recognized.
All right, seeing none. Moving next into announcements and appointments. Is Mr. Jaxie in the other room? I think he is. If someone could grab him, yep, if you don't mind. Thank you, Captain. All right, before we get to that, as you know, it is with profound sadness that I mention the passing of one of our own, former council member, John Bowe, who served the city of Wildwood in several capacities, and prior to that was the mayor for the city of Baldwin. And so I would ask that we stand for a moment of silence in recognition of former council member John Bowe. Thank you. And as a result of his departure from the council, we need to fill that spot. And I provided a memo with the appointee for that position, Mr. Rob Jaxie, who is a retired colonel from the Air Force and has other aspects that I think would make a terrific council member for our city for Ward 6, which, as you know, has been without full representation for some time. The appointment provision under our charter requires that I make this appointment within 30 days of the vacancy occurring. And as I noted in the memo, that occurred on December the 18th. And so that day will expire prior to the date of the next council meeting. I provided in the memo his Colonel Jaxie's contact information, along with an encouragement that anyone who wanted to reach out to him, and I know a few of you did. He's also with us in council chambers this evening. If anyone has any questions, I'm sure he'd be happy to answer those. Council member Rambo, the other counterpart from Ward 6, is supportive of this appointment. So if any of you have any questions for Mr. Jaxie, we can entertain those now. Otherwise, I would ask for a motion to approve his appointment to the council. Council member Remy.
Yes, I had the distinct pleasure to talk to the gentleman, and I'm fully supportive of his candidacy. I think he'll make an excellent addition. He comes with a unique background, both in the federal government and military, as well as in his teaching career. And I think he's an outstanding person for this position. I fully support him.
Okay, thank you. All right, seeing no questions or anything further, would someone like to make a motion to approve Colonel Jaxie to the Wildwood City Council as a representative of Ward 6, made by Councilmember Rambo, seconded by Councilmember Edens? Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you and congratulations.
Yay.
So if you want to say something, you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, we have your place set at the bench. Oh, you do have to swear him in. Yes, for the formality, my apology. So we're gonna have the clerk swear Colonel Jaxie into the position.
I thank you all.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Rob Jackson,
I, Rob Jackson,
being first duly sworn on my oath,
being first duly sworn on my oath,
state that I possess all of the qualifications
state that I possess all of the qualifications
prescribed by law for the office of council member
prescribed by law for the office of council member
of the city of Wildwood, St. Louis County, state of Missouri,
of the city of Wildwood, St. Louis County, state of Missouri,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Missouri,
and the state of Missouri,
the provisions of the charter of the city,
the provisions of the charter of the city,
and all applicable laws of this state,
and all applicable laws of the state,
and the ordinances and laws of the city of Wildwood, St. Louis County, state of Missouri,
and the ordinances of the laws of the city of the Wildwood, St. Louis County, state of Missouri,
and faithfully demean myself
and faithfully demean myself
of the office of council member for the city of Wildwood.
of the office of council member for the city of Wildwood.
Thank you. And then do you want to sit with the
No, it's okay. I can,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, point of privilege.
Sure. So Councilmember Rambo has asked for a point of personal privilege. So the chair will recognize Councilmember Rambo.
I couldn't be more pleased with Rob, but I am laying claim to the name Rob. And we're going to have to come up with a nickname or something because it's just going to be too much of a mess otherwise.
Colonel.
What's that?
Colonel.
Yeah, that's it's been suggested. We'll work something out. Welcome.
Thank you all very much for your support.
Thank you for your willingness to represent the residents of Ward 6. Appreciate it. All right. Okay. Moving next into legislation, second readings, Bill 2551 is before the council for first reading. Is there a motion to approve the first reading of Bill 25, or the second reading of Bill 2551? Made by Councilmember McCutcheon, seconded by Councilmember Bertolino. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Ms. Eldridge, please read Bill 2551.
Bill 2551, an ordinance by the City Council of the City of Wildwood, Missouri, authorizing the current name of the Pond Grover Loop Road, inclusive of its entirety within this jurisdiction, to be renamed to Pond Grover Parkway, which is reflective of the city's park facilities that anchor either end of it while keeping with the naming protocols of the St. Louis County Office of Emergency Management, OEM.
Thank you. Joe, do you have anything further you want to mention relative to Bill 2551?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, this particular item, as you can tell by the numbering, has been off the agenda for a bit. The Departments of Public Works and Planning were working with the Missouri Department of Transportation on the cost of switching out the signs. Ultimately, the Department of Transportation is recommending, and the departments are supporting, that just the portion of the name be changed from Pond Grover Loop Road to Pond Grover Parkway, and that we cover up the Loop Road component, and that will be less than $500 to achieve.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for Joe? Councilor Bertolino?
Joe, all due respect, that sounds pretty tacky. Did they come out with what does it cost? I did am on. Did they come up with another cost? Is that if you replace the signs, how much they're gonna be?
The estimate we received, and it was collaborative between the state, the Department of Public Works, and the Department of Planning, was in excess of about $13,000. Given the budget circumstances associated with 2020 and now again in 2021, the overlay for the portions of the sign actually don't look that bad in the rendering provided. And I would see it as just a stopgap until either the signs need to be replaced or revenues change in a direction that's more positive.
All right, thanks, Joe.
You're welcome, sir.
Councilmember Rambo.
Joe, can we see that rendering?
I do not have one prepared. Certainly, if you want to postpone, I can gift you all the historical materials that we've developed since the inception of the discussion relating to the name change.
Well, we all trust your judgment, but I agree with Councilmember Bertolino. It sounds a little bit tacky, and I'd be more comfortable if we could see, you know, what it looks like. But 13 grand's a lot of money, and if it's a stopgap measure, it's probably okay. So, thank you. That's all I wanted.
Which I would, for what it's worth, agree with that remark. I think this is pretty prominent. We might want to see what we're doing here before to vote on it. Councilmember Bertolino.
Well, can we go ahead and vote on approving the name change and then proceed with Joe and the others on Zoom we can do about the signage, but let's go ahead tonight and actually get the name changed.
City Attorney Young, what does the bill, let's see what the bill does here, the change. Okay, so the bill is specifically, at Councilmember Bertolino's point, for a name change only, although it does say in section 2 that the city administrator will move forward with effecting that. We'll have an understanding without objection by unanimous consent of the council that section 2, in terms of affecting it, the council gets to see that before anything is done relative to that. John Young, okay with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Steve Cross, good with that? Joe?
And Mr. Mayor, with your permission, we could have the background material at work session at the next meeting so that everybody can see it and discuss it at the same time, if that's okay.
So thank you so much. So the upshot is, if the council wants to go ahead and move forward with the name change, it can do that now as part of this second reading. That'll be done, but the signage itself will be subject to council approval before it's implemented. That's the upshot. So with that, any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll for final passage of Bill 2551.
Councilmember Dodwell,
Yes.
Councilmember Nyan,
Yes.
Councilmember Bartoni,
Yes.
Councilmember Bros,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Edens,
Yes.
Councilmember Remy,
Yes.
Councilmember Farmer,
Yes.
Councilmember Galani,
Yes.
Councilmember Yoon,
Yes.
Councilmember Rambo,
Yes.
Councilmember McCutcheon,
Yes.
Councilmember Garitano,
Yes.
Councilmember Slasher,
Yes.
Councilmember Jaxie,
Yes.
Councilmember Bertolino.
Yes.
Okay, the bill passes. Moving next to Bill 2585. It's before the council for final passage, and it concerns Ward 5. Is there a motion for the second reading of the bill? We have a Councilmember McCutcheon, seconded by Councilmember Bertolino. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Ms. Eldridge, please read Bill 2585.
Bill 2585, an ordinance of the City of Wildwood, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to execute a use and maintenance agreement with the villages at Brightleaf Homeowners Association, which sets forth parameters for the care and upkeep of certain private improvements located upon city-owned public space that were set forth as part of the platting of this 192 residential lot subdivision for enhanced main access for the subdivision from Taylor Road and State Route 100, second reading.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Eldridge, do we have the microphone at that podium turned off. I'm hearing reverb from somewhere over there. Okay, any comments or questions? Oh, I'm sorry, Joe, do you have anything you want to mention relative to Bill 2585?
Mr. Mayor, no, sir, but I am available for any comments or questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Joe or any comments from any member of the council relative to Bill 2585? Councilmember Clark?
Yeah, I might have missed this when I was reading through, but because we've had some issues with noise on Highway 100, I was just wondering if there's something in this that addresses if they put up a structure or some kind of landscape changes that we should verify that it's not going to increase the noise level in the area.
Joe?
Councilmember Clark, this is a maintenance agreement for the most part. Any changes to the city-owned public space would have to go through standard process, which in this case would probably include the Planning and Zoning Commission, Architectural Review Board, and then City Council. So I can almost guarantee you that the only changes that would occur out at that location would be those authorized by the 16 members of City Council. Thank you.
Thank you. I must have misread it.
Okay, any further questions or comments? Seeing none, Ms. Eldridge, please call the roll for final passage of Bill 2585.
Councilmember Nian.
Yes.
Councilmember Bartoni.
Yes.
Councilmember Bros.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Edens.
Yes.
Councilmember Remy.
Yes.
Councilmember Farmer.
Yes.
Councilmember Galani.
Yes.
Councilmember McCune.
Yes.
Councilmember Rambo.
Yes.
Councilmember McCutcheon.
Yes.
Councilmember Garitano.
Yes.
Councilmember Flasher.
Yes.
Councilmember Jaxie.
Yes.
Councilmember Bertolino. Councilmember Dodwell.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Bill 2585 has passed. Moving next to Bill 2586. It's before the council, last of our second readings, and it concerns Ward 1. Is there a motion for the second reading of the bill? Made by Councilmember Clark, seconded by Councilmember Brost. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Ms. Eldridge, please read Bill 2586.
Bill 2586, an ordinance of the City of Wildwood, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to execute a consultant services agreement with CDG Engineers Incorporated for the final design of Bridge number 386 and Bridge number 387 located on Wild Horse Creek Road in the City of Wildwood, second reading.
Thank you. Rick, do you have anything you want to mention relative to Bill 2586?
Thank you, Mayor, but no, I do not. I am available, of course, for any questions from the City Council.
Okay, thank you, Rick. Are there any questions for Rick relative to Bill 2586 or any comment on the bill from any member of the council? All right, seeing none, Ms. Eldridge, please call the roll for final passage of Bill 2586.
Councilmember Bartoni.
Yes.
Councilmember Bros.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Edens.
Yes.
Councilmember Remy.
Yes.
Councilmember Farmer.
Yes.
Councilmember Galani.
Yes.
Councilmember McCune.
Yes.
Councilmember Rambo.
Yes.
Councilmember McCutcheon.
Yes.
Councilmember Garitano.
Yes.
Councilmember Flasher.
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson.
Yes.
Councilmember Bertolino.
Yes.
Councilmember Dodwell.
Yes.
Councilmember Nian.
Yes.
Okay, Bill 2586 has passed. Moving next into first readings, Bill 2587 is before the council for first reading, and it also concerns Ward 1. Is there a motion for the first reading of the bill? Made by Councilmember Bros, seconded by Councilmember Clark. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Ms. Eldridge, please read Bill 2587.
Bill 2587. An ordinance of the City of Wildwood, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to negotiate and execute a supplemental agreement on behalf of the City of Wildwood with Thuanot, Wade, and Fortune Incorporated for additional design services required for the Manchester Road Shared Use Path Project within the City of Wildwood. First reading.
Okay, thank you. Rick, do you have anything you'd like to mention relative to this bill?
No, Mayor, but thank you. Again, I'm available for any questions from the city council.
Okay. Does any member of the council have any questions for Rick or on the bill, or any comments about the bill? Okay, seeing none, it will be on the council's agenda for its next meeting. Moving next to Bill 2588, it's before the council for first reading and it concerns all wards. Is there a motion for the first reading of Bill 2588? Made by Councilmember Galani, seconded by Councilmember Farmer. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Ms. Eldridge, please read Bill 2588.
Bill 2588, an ordinance of the City of Wildwood, Missouri, authorizing certain changes to Chapter 415 of the city's municipal code zoning ordinance, specifically Chapters 415.090 through 415.210, Sections B and C inclusive, which will modify them to address their respective permitted and conditional uses in terms of additions, deletions, and changes to reflect new trends, changing preferences, and resident input, all being consistent with the Planning and Zoning Commission's letter of recommendation on this matter dated November 16th, 2020, first reading.
Thank you. Joe, do you have anything you'd like to mention relative to the bill?
Mr. Mayor, with your permission, just a couple of brief comments. First and foremost, back in December at the last city council meeting, a public hearing was held on this matter. At the public hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission's letter of recommendation was presented as part of that proceeding. At the conclusion of the hearing, the city council authorized the preparation of the legislation, which is before you tonight, and the department is available for any comments or questions, as well as the city attorney, Councilmember Bros, and Mayor Bolin, all who participated in this particular matter at the Planning and Zoning Commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Any questions for Joe on the bill or any comments about the bill? Councilmember Clark?
I had a question about on page 19, in red, it says it's added nail salon, spas, and other personal care activities. That's a little confusing to me, personal care activities. Does that mean personal care, like a venue, a location, or personal care activities? To me, I think of things like maybe even home health care or things that could be taken care of inside the home.
Joe, would you or the city attorney like to respond to Councilmember Clark's question? Joe, you want to try?
Well, I can certainly defer to the city attorney, but I think within the context of the description, the intent is to allow things such as nail salons, hairdressers, things along those lines that we've seen fill in where retail used to occupy much of our commercial centers. I see Mr. Young has jumped on the screen, so I'll let him finish that if he would like.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, City Attorney Young.
Thank you, Mayor. In support of what the Director of Planning stated, any rule of statutory interpretation, when you have a list of uses and then a more generic term, it has to be something consistent with that list of uses. So it will not be broadened to a home care type situation. It has to be something like a spa or nail salon or something similar of that ilk.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Joe or the city attorney relative to the bill? Seeing none, it'll be on the council's agenda for the next meeting. Moving next to Bill 2589. It's before the council for first reading and concerns Ward 8. Is there a motion for the first reading of the bill? Made by Councilmember Garetano. Second, Ward 8. Seconded by Councilmember Remy. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Ms. Eldridge, please read Bill 2589.
Bill 2589, an ordinance of the city of Wildwood, Missouri, amending an existing C8 planned commercial district, ordinance number 558, by adding certain conditions to allow for additional permitted uses to occur on the site, while updating it to reflect the tenets of the town center plan in its current form, with such actions being consistent with the Planning and Zoning Commission's letter of recommendation on this matter, that being dated November 16th, 2020, first reading.
Thank you. Joe, do you have anything you'd like to mention relative to the bill?
Again, Mr. Mayor, with your permission, just a couple of brief comments. First, again, back in December of 2020, this matter was presented at a public hearing to City Council. At the conclusion of the hearing, the City Council authorized the preparation of the legislation. This is a single-family dwelling that's been converted to commercial use. It's been vacant for approximately a year, I think, and certainly new tenants and care and maintenance of the grounds and building would be much welcome. The new owners of the property are on screen tonight, and they have respectfully requested a second reading, given that we had a long break between the public hearing. And the Department of Planning offers no objection to that second reading unless the city attorney has an issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Garetano.
I'd be happy to make that motion for a second reading.
Okay, so we have a motion for second reading. Is there a second to the motion for second reading made by Councilmember Flasher? So a motion for second reading will require a 2/3 supermajority vote for that to occur this evening. We'll try voice vote first and see how that works. And if needed, we can do a show of hands or a roll call. All in favor of the motion for second reading, please say aye.
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 Sounded like 2/3. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Ms. Eldridge, please read Bill 2589.
Bill 2589, an ordinance of the city of Wildwood, Missouri, amending an existing C8 planned commercial district, ordinance number 558, by adding certain conditions to allow for additional permitted uses to occur on the site, while updating it to reflect the tenets of the town center plan in its current form, with such actions being consistent with the Planning and Zoning Commission's letter of recommendation on this matter, that being dated November 16th, 2020, second reading.
Thank you. Does any member of the council have any further questions or comments relative to Bill 2589? Councilor Rambo.
Just a real quickie. I'm going to be a semantic Nazi here and say that it probably should be TENETS instead of tenants. Tenants is someone occupying the space, and tenant is an element of the plan.
That is correct.
Thank you, Councilmember Rambo.
Okay.
My apologies.
So without objection, we'll do that editorially. Thank you, Councilmember Rambo, for making that comment. We want to get it right. Any other comments? Seeing none, Ms. Eldridge, please call the roll for final passage of Bill 2589.
Councilmember Rose?
Yes.
Councilmember Clark?
Yes.
Councilmember Edens?
Yes.
Councilmember Remy?
Yes.
Councilmember Farmer?
Yes.
Councilmember Galani?
Yes.
Councilmember Pian?
Yes.
Councilmember Rambo?
Yes.
Councilmember McCutcheon?
Yes.
Councilmember Garetano?
Yes.
Councilmember Flasher?
Yes.
Councilmember Taxi?
Yes.
Councilmember Bernardino?
Yes.
Councilmember Dodwell?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Councilmember Bartoni?
Yes.
Okay, so Bill 2589 has passed and is now on the books. And congratulations to the two petitioners, and thank you for being here this evening. Thank you also for wanting to be part of our great city of Wildwood, and best of luck to you.
Oh, well, thank you guys so much. Have a good night. Thank you.
Okay, you too. Moving next to Bill 2590, it's before the council for first reading, and it concerns Ward 6. Is there a motion for the first reading of the bill? Made by Councilmember Rambo, seconded by Councilmember Jaxie. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Ms. Eldridge, please read Bill 2590.
Bill 2590, an ordinance of the city of Wildwood, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding, MOU, with Gateway Off-Road Cyclists, GORC, to grant that organization the right to construct certain trail facilities in Bluffview Park, which have been presented to the Planning and Parks Committee and City Council and been accepted therein, thereby now permitting such activities to proceed at this location in accordance with the approved plan for such. First reading.
Okay, thank you. Joe, do you have anything you want to mention relative to Bill 2590?
Mr. Mayor, just to emphasize that this particular matter has been before the Planning and Parks Committee as well as City Council. A number of discussions have occurred, and we finally reached the point where we have an agreement, and work can begin in 2021 on this new trail system that's much anticipated by our mountain bike community in Wildwood. If there are any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them at this time.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Any questions for Joe by any member of the council relative to the bill? All right, seeing none, it'll be on the council's agenda for its next meeting. Joe, I have a question for you. I'm going to do something here. Hopefully it's going to expedite the business of the council relative to the next 4 bills that are lot splits and the like, 2591, 2592, 2593, and Bill 2594. Is there anything that you think would be controversial about any of those lot splits? And where I'm headed is, the reason I'm asking before you answer that, just so you know, is I'm going to suggest to the council that we handle these 4 bills en masse rather than separately, so we can expedite the meeting of the council. So is there anything controversial you think that should be dealt with singularly on the part of any of those 4 bills?
No, sir, I do not believe there is anything controversial or unique. They are probably the simplest thing we do, and one is a reapproval. So I believe your approach would be more than acceptable to the department. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joe. So without objection, we will handle Bill 2591, Bill 2592, Bill 2593, and Bill 2594 en masse. Is there any objection to that? Okay. Seeing no objection, I would ask for a motion for the first reading of the 4 bills. Made by Councilmember Clark. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Flasher. All in favor of the motion for second reading of the 4 bills, or first reading of the 4 bills, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so Ms. Eldridge, this means with this action, please read each of the 4 bills sequentially.
Bill 2591, an ordinance of the city of Wildwood, Missouri, authorizing a lot split plat for an existing lot of record that is located within the west fractional half of Section 5, Township 45 North, Range 3 East, or more specifically situated on the north side of Hart Road, west of Wild Horse Creek Road, which will hereafter be known as the Mertz Hart Lot Split Plat. First reading. Bill 2592, an ordinance of the city of Wildwood, Missouri, authorizing a lot split plat for an existing lot of record that is located within Section 12, Township 44 North, Range 3 East, or more specifically being situated at the terminus of Willow Glen Drive, such public street also within the 7 villages of Cherry Hill subdivision, which will hereafter be known as the Marley River Lot Split Plat. First reading. Bill 2593, an ordinance of the city of Wildwood, Missouri, reauthorizing the consolidation of 2 parcels of ground now known as lots 41 and 42 of the Fox Creek Valley subdivision, identified by St. Louis County Assessors locator number 27Y310021, combined for single tax billing purposes, all being located as part of the southwest quarter of Section 29 and part of the northwest quarter of Section 32, Township 44 North, Range 3 East, of the 5th Principal Meridian in the city of Wildwood, St. Louis County, Missouri, and more specifically situated at the northeast corner of Fox Creek Court and Raynard Lane, thereby creating a single 7.68 acre legal lot of record to be hereafter known as Lot A of Fox Creek Valley Plat 4, first reading. Bill number 2594, an ordinance of the city of Wildwood, Missouri, authorizing the consolidation of 3 lots of record, those properties being lots 20, 21, and 22 of Acacia, which are located in U.S. Survey 3026, Township 44 North, Range 3 East of the 5th Principal Meridian, and more specifically situated between Acacia Road and the Merrimack River, to be known as the Acacia consolidation of the 20, 21, and 22 first reading.
Thank you. Joe, do you have anything you'd like to mention relative to Bill 2591 or Bill 2592, 2593, or Bill 2594?
In regards to the plat that is proposed as in the 7 villages of Cherry Hill subdivision, this is an approximately 28-acre tract of land that has been the subject of a lot of different development proposals. And for the representatives in Ward 8, the intent now is to subdivide it into an approximately 3-acre tract of land and a 25-acre tract of land and have 2 homes there. Thank you.
And so, Joe, I know that sometimes you like to show, the map of this to the council. Would you like to do that this evening? Do you want to show the maps of these lots or anything?
I went ahead to expedite the meeting tonight, not knowing how long the closed session would take. I provided the colorized versions of the plat that hopefully make it easier to understand what's being created or what's being eliminated. So unfortunately, I do not have anything prepared, but certainly at the next meeting, if you'd like to see it, Mr. Jacquin and I can certainly accommodate that. My apologies.
Okay. Oh, no. I actually had talked with the city administrator, and I'm glad about providing those. I'm glad you provided them. And that just helps them, the council, ahead of time. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't anything on there you wanted to highlight relative to those maps at this point.
No, I think it's self-explanatory, and certainly it's a positive because that tract of land, if any of you have been in that area, does not accommodate much more than 2 lots.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I guess one last question. Do you think these, Joe, are something that would be, we could clear the agenda for the next meeting and do a second reading on them, or do you think it'd be better to wait for that?
With your permission, Mayor, I would prefer to wait.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so they'll be on the agenda. Any questions for Joe on any of the bills? All right, seeing no questions, they'll be on the agenda for second reading for the next council meeting. That takes us to resolutions. Resolution 2020-01, our first of the year, is before the council. Is there a motion to adopt Resolution 2020-01? I'm sorry, 2021-01. Thank you, City Administrator. Made by Councilmember Galani, seconded by Councilmember McCutcheon. Ms. Eldridge, please read Resolution 2021-01.
Resolution 2021-01, a resolution of the City of Wildwood, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Wildwood Yoga and Wellness to provide classes throughout fiscal year 2021 for Wildwood seniors 60 plus, such being funded by the way of Community Development Block Grant CDBG monies that are received from St. Louis County, Missouri.
Thank you. Joe, do you have anything you want to mention relative to this resolution?
Just one comment, Mr. Mayor, with your permission. During the pandemic year of 2020, we've heard from a lot of seniors that this has kind of been their lifeline. They've been able to gather on Zoom, to do yoga and have some interaction with others. And again, I think it's an excellent use of the Community Development Block Grant funds to provide senior activities for our residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Joe relative to the resolution or any comments on the resolution? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of the motion to adopt Resolution 2021-01, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. The resolution is adopted. Nothing under miscellaneous unless someone has something. That would take us then to adjournment of the council meeting. Councilmember Garetano.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment to really extend appreciation to our interim city administrator, Steve Cross, who over the Christmas holiday worked at City Hall to address an issue regarding the heating system that had broken down and impacted the police precinct. That's a big deal for him to be stepping away on Christmas Day and do that for our city. And he deserves to be recognized. So I want to extend that appreciation. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you, Councilmember Garetano, for bringing that up. And thank you, Interim City Administrator Steve Cross, for doing that over the holiday. We appreciate that. Anything further? If not, I want to make sure that I officially welcome Councilmember Jaxie to our team. I know he's going to be a great member, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you. All right, anything further? Seeing nothing, I would ask for a motion to adjourn. Someone want to make a motion to adjourn, maybe by Councilmember Farmer, seconded by Councilmember McCune. Non-debatable motion. All in favor of the motion to adjourn, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you, and we'll see you at the next meeting.